Jai students, today we are going to discuss macroeconomics, money and banking chapter. It's a part 3 video. So it's on the basis of the new topic, that is banking. Banking is a concept that has been developed after the Banking Companies Act in 1949. Banking means the accepting of deposits of money from the public and repayable on demand of the public is known as what? Banking system. So we can study what are the functions of commercial banks. So there are two functions, mainly primary function and a secondary function. Primary function, it has been classified into two, that is acceptance of deposits and advancing loans. Then in secondary function, and agency functions and the general utility functions are there. Under that we will be studying overdraft facility and discounting bills of exchange. So these are the main functions of commercial bank. So this was formed after the coming of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. So next we will be studying the definition of commercial bank. So commercial bank is an institution which have been by the aim of accepting deposits from the public and gives loans for the purpose of consumption and investment. So these are the main functions of commercial banks. So what the commercial bank does means, it is also an agency and it may also want some profit from the people. So what it does is, it will be taking deposits from the public and it may give an percentage of interest to the public. So the deposits may be added with the interest rate that has been fixed by the commercial banks. So for example, it may be the interest rate of 4%. So in a particular period of time, the interest rate may be increasing with the deposits or with the commercial banks that have been deposited by the public to the commercial banks. Another function is it gives loans to the public. So loan is given on the basis of an increased interest rate which has to be combinedly paid by the people to the commercial bank. So it's a 10%, for example. So you can just see the difference. So it's a 4% only the commercial banks gives it to the depositors, but the loan that the public has to pay that as interest rate is 10%. So you can see that how it is making profit from the people. So then also it's an agent which what saves his the public's interest. So that's one of the main thing. So next is we are going to just see the primary function that we had seen earlier. Then it has been classified into two, that is acceptance of deposits and advancing loans. So that we will be seeing in detail. So first function is acceptance of deposits. So primary function is acceptance of deposits. So acceptance of deposits is classified into two, which are all current account deposits and saving account deposits. So current account deposits means what? The account that has been payable on demand can be withdrawn upon by the check without any restriction. So whenever a person needs the money back, he can ask for the money back. So that's in the form of check or in other cash forms. So that's the current deposits. So next, the saving deposits is, these are payable on demand and withdrawable by check, but there are certain restrictions on the number of checks issued. So savings cannot be taken when we want, it cannot be taken. It is within the period it has been fixed. So when the amount that has to be withdrawn is decided by the banks. So that's saving account deposit. Next, Fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is these are deposits for a fixed term. So it may be of high rate of interest given by the commercial banks, and there are restrictions on withdrawal of money. Without the maturity of time period, it cannot be withdrawn. So that's a fixed deposit. So hope you understood the primary function. So next important function is advancing loans. So it's a certain part of the cash received by banks as deposits is kept as a reserve with the bank, and is rest of them has been given as loans to the public, and an interest rate has been incurred by the public. So that's known as what? Advancing loans. So it's also on the basis of three classification, that is cash credit, demand credit, and short term loans. So a credit limit is sanctioned up to which the user may borrow from the bank on a given security. So in that also a given security has to be paid as a cash credit. And in demand credit, this loan can be recalled on demand by the banks at any time. So that's another function, another point that has to be noted. So again, we will be seeing the functions. So next we will be seeing secondary function. Secondary function is, first function is overdraft. So this is advanced by a commercial bank, allowing a customer to overdraw his current account up to an agreed limit. So he can overdraw or he can excessively withdraw certain amount of currencies. So on the basis of security. So he has to keep some security or any financial assets as with the commercial banks to withdraw these huge amount. So the security for overdraft is usually financial assets of an account holder, such as shares, debentures, LIC policies, etc. So these may be considered as an security for this overdraft facility, and rate of interest is lower than on cash credit, as it is easier to liquefy financial assets than the physical assets. So it's easily comparatively rate of interest paid to such an withdrawal is very low compared to other loan advances that we are giving to the public. So this is overdraft, one of the function. So next important function is discounting bills of exchange. This is a document acknowledging an amount of money owed in consideration for goods received. For example, if A gives B a bill of exchange stating the amount of money owed and the time when the debt has to be settled. So if a money has been taken from A from B, then A gives a bill of exchange to B, stating that a particular time period within which he can take the money back by showing the bill of exchange to the bank. So if B wants the money immediately, he will be presenting. So if before the date he want the money back. So if he want the money back, then the B will be presenting the bill of exchange to the bank for discounting. So the amount will deduct a commission and pay the present value of the bill to B. So upon the maturity of the bill, the bank will recover payment from A. So after the prescribed date that is being given in that bill of exchange, the money will be recovered by the A. So that's known as what? Discounting bill of exchange. So another secondary function is investment of funds. So banks will invest funds in government securities. So government securities may be in government sector like central as well as state, and it may be in the form of treasury bills and NSE, that is National Security Certificate. So other approved securities comes under the bill, that is 19 Bank Bill Regulation Act of 1949. So under that different boards, that is housing boards and electricity boards and all are the approved securities which the government can, commercial banks can invest. So in the form of other securities, the private sector will come under that. Fourth function is agency functions of banks, and bank perform certain agency functions for its customers in return of commissions. The agency function services are transfer of funds. So through instruments such as demand draft, mail transfer, telegraphic transfers, etc., the bank provides facility for cheap and easy remittance of funds from place to place. Second function is collection of funds. The bank collects funds on behalf of its customers through checks, demand drafts and bills, etc. Third is purchase and sale of shares and securities on behalf of customers. Next is collection of dividends and interest on shares and debentures. So dividends means profits and all are collected at some time by the commercial banks. Next, payments. Payment of bills and insurance premiums are also done by commercial banks. Next is acting as an executors and a trustee of wills. So it acts an executor or trustee. Next is provision of income tax consultancy. So it also acts as an income tax consultancy provision that it suggests or it guides the people. Next is miscellaneous functions. Under that some other functions are there. So purchase and sale of foreign exchanges. So if an exchange has to be done with the other currency, so that function also have been done by this other nation currency, the exchanges and or purchase and sale, other functions have been done by the commercial banks. Next, issue of a traveler's check. So traveler's check issue are also done by the commercial banks, and safe custody of valuable goods in locker. So locker facility are also there. So next, underwriting activities and private placements of securities. So private placements are done by the commercial banks. Next is consultancy to customers on financial matters by collecting and publishing statistics related to trade and commerce and industries. So it also acts as a consultancy or record agent which has the statistics record about the trades in the commerce and industry, etc. So thank you students. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Thank you.